Johnny?
Oh, Nancy, for heaven's... How are you, sweetheart? Hey, come on in. Grab a chair. Do you realize we haven't seen you since election night?
I do.
Maeve will be sorry she missed you. She's off picking little John up at nursery school.
Oh, I'm sorry to miss her. I have some news.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I think it's news. Did you talk to Frank before he went to the senator orientation meeting?
Oh, just a fast phone call.
Well, then you don't know that as of January, I'm going to be in Washington, too. As his sort of, as Frank's assistant, courier, general liaison between New York and Washington.
No kidding.
Well, I hope he wasn't kidding, because I took it very seriously.
Oh, that's fantastic, especially for Frank.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for Frank, but I know it's perfect for me.
Hey, how's your father like the idea?
How do you think he likes it?
Well, I gotta call Dave up. I gotta call him up. We have the makings of a Ryan Feldman political dynasty going for us. But, kind of surprises me that you're going. I was under the impression that you were committed to things around here.
You mean Pat?
Yeah.
I was falling in love with Pat, Johnny. And I know that he was at the point where he could have fallen in love with me. But we didn't want to just have an affair, and anything else than that just wasn't possible. For all the obvious reasons. So we decided to call it quits. While we're still friends.
One of the reasons you're taking this Washington job is to put some distance between you and Patrick, huh?
Yes.
Well, Nancy, I have to tell you that I think it's a very wise thing to do.
I know.
But it isn't easy, is it? Oh, sweetheart. Come here, come here. Oh, darling, you know, I think you're a lovely person, don't you? And a brave one.
Thank you.
The nicest people I know.
Thank you. Can I ask you a question?
Sure you can, darling.
How would you and Maeve have felt if something permanent had developed between Pat and me?
I think exactly the same way that your parents would have felt. And I know you understand that.
Yes. Well, I've got to get back to the office and then home to pack. Bob and I are going to Washington in the shuttle for our own little orientation.
Have a fantastic time. And you keep an eye on my son. I expect a full report from you when you get back.
You'll get it. Johnny, thank you for this.
Nancy.
And I want you to know that I think you have two remarkable sons.
Nancy, honey. Hey, how are you? Happy holidays.
Same to you. Hello.
Hi, Nance.
Can I get some orange juice to go?
Fresh squeezed. You got it.
You on your way in, too?
Already been. Frank and I started early.
Hey, Nancy, help yourself to a fresh donut. Go ahead.
Oh, no, thank you. I've got to learn to say no to more food than I need. Eating's going to be an occupational hazard.
Yeah, that orientation, Johnny, was like one party after another. Every time you turn around, somebody's got a plate of food in your face.
Grab a donut, man, for heaven's sake.
Okay.
He'll take up self-control next week.
So you had a good time in Washington, huh?
Oh, glorious. I'm full of information. Ask me anything. From the burning of the Capitol, 1814, to who's who in diplomatic circles.
It ought to come in handy.
And I've developed this wonderful official look, haven't I? The senator is taking that under consideration.
She practiced hard on that.
I'll tell you something. You act like you're a girl who's lived in Washington all her life.
Oh, on the Hill. That's how we say
Oh.
it. Capitol Hill.
I see. So I gathered. So you found yourself a nice place to live, I bet.
Oh, cute little apartment. Oh, it's one room, and yes, in a nice, safe building, Mother, with a little sleeping alcove, and everything behind louvered doors, the kitchen, the bed, everything. I love it. Ray's people found it for me. They're still looking for something for Frank.
Yeah, Ray wanted to get a real posh place for Frank, but you know Frank.
Well, how about you, Bobby?
Well, I figure I'll wait till Frank gets situated, and I'll kind of move it in the middle on the Nancy on one side, Frank on the other. We can just send smoke signals
Or flag messages. Or we'll just holler at each other.
Hey, listen, I saw your father the night before last. He's pleased as punch. He's so proud of you.
Oh, be careful. He'll have me running for Congress.
Nothing wrong with that, is there? Well, I gather you're feeling pretty good now about life in general, huh?
You mean about Pat? You don't have to beat around the bush. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better. I just invoked the power of negative thinking. I said, he's a nice boy, Nancy, but not for you. 20 times upon going to bed and rising.
Good girl.
It's a loss, but I'll live.
Well, it's got to be a little rough on Patrick, too, you know. Look, you're both intelligent people. Why go looking for heartache?
Good
you know
morning.
what I mean? Oh, for heaven's sake. There she is. Darling, you look wonderful. Oh, Maeve and I haven't stopped thinking about you every minute.
Well, you can stop worrying now. I'm fine.
Ah, Faith, you look great.
Oh, thank
Patrick.
you.
Hey, Robert. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, Pat. How are you?
Pretty good. How's Washington?
Wonderful. I love the job. Hello, Faith.
Hello, Nancy. It's good to see you.
You. I'm so glad you're okay.
Oh, thank you. It turned out to be a very lovely Christmas after all. You know what I want.
Ah, breakfast.
Yes. But first,
All right, all right. Here,
you
Jane.
promised.
Help yourself. What'd you learn a lot at the orientation?
Loads. Did I ever thank you for getting me involved in politics?
Actually, I don't think you did.
Well, then thank you. I love it.
I don't know about you, but I feel like dancing.
Well, in a minute. Let me get you some eggs. How do you want them?
Sunny side up.
Okay.
Well, I've got to get going. I'd love to stay in cab, but I can't take advantage of my boss's good nature. Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself, darling.
I'll be coming over later, Nancy.
Well, I can't promise you that, Mr. Greer, but I do give you my word that he'll have the message by tonight, and either he or I will call you by 10 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah, I understand. I can appreciate that, yes. Okay. I certainly will. Goodbye, Mr. Greer. Hello, Dr. Ryan.
Hello, Miss Feldman. I gather the senator's out.
The senator, would you believe, is having an informal dinner with the other senator, with whom he seems to share all kinds of common interests.
Ah, well, I think that can only be good for the city and the state.
I agree. Is there anything I can do for you?
No, I just came to talk.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I cannot be a brother to you.
Ah. Oh, Nance, where's your cane?
Well, I haven't been using it around the office. It's such a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got out of the habit when we had 3 people out in the front office. I was afraid I'd trip somebody up.
Listen, just because we're not seeing one another socially doesn't mean I don't consider myself your doctor. Unless you advise me otherwise. So I just assume you wouldn't do things like throw away your cane without consulting me.
I didn't. Throw it away, I mean. It's right by my desk. I use it for the stairs in the street.
You should be using it anytime you're on your feet more than 30 seconds.
Damn. I will. I promise. I just hate it.
I know it.
Hey, I don't want another doctor.
Good.
Should I have one in Washington, though?
Probably, and I'll get you a recommendation.
Thank you.
And stop by the hospital. We can do just a last set of pictures, and I'll check you out thoroughly.
All right.
I sense some reservations. Is that going to be a problem for you?
No, not at all. I was just thinking how easy all this is.
Yes, it is.
Though I do miss you. And I'll be glad to get to Washington.
When do you leave?
The 14th. Oh, Frank's already under payroll, but he's officially sworn in on the 15th.
I hear you found an apartment.
Yes, one expensive room. A balcony with a view and a short little walk to Capitol Hill.
Well, a short walk by spring. For now, it's a slow, tedious walk.
With my cane.
Oh, by George, you've got it.
Hey, listen, you'll have to come by and see my... Scratch that.
I am going to be in Washington from time to time. And I'm very aware at this moment that I miss you, too.
How's Faith? She looked wonderful the other morning.
She is wonderful.
And the two of you are back together again.
Well, we have been. Although I'm afraid there might be complications.
Listen, you want to talk to Frank? Hey, Frank, you got anything for Charlie?
No. Tell him I'll miss him at the swearing in. And I know about his hustle lessons, so he better lay off you, Bob.
Did you get that? Yeah, I got to... Oh, yeah, okay, I'll give him the message in private. Okay, I'll see you later.
Well, Judge Ferris is in good form today.
I am going to miss him.
What was his message?
Well,
It's all right. You can say it in front of me.
I mean, he just sort of... Frank and...
Come on, Bob. Hey, I'm one of the guys, right?
Yeah, Bob. We won't be shocked.
How long has she been standing there?
I don't know. How long have you been standing there?
A minute.
Okay, that's it. That's called eavesdropping, possibly breaking and entering. Come in, sit down. Before you say anything, I think you should understand it can be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to make one telephone call.
Can I call Charlie Ferris and ask him what his message was? Hey, for Pete's sake, my brother's a senator. Don't get tough with me.
Okay, I'll lay off. Just change the subject, all right?
Okay. I just stopped by to say have a great time in Washington and congratulations in advance. How's that?
That's good.
Darn, you don't know how much I wish you were coming with this.
Yeah, but then I couldn't see you on the news, and Little John and I will be watching.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of him.
Just breakfasts, dinners, basically, but I'm looking forward to it. Georgia? No, she wasn't there when I came in.
Ethel!
Oh, hello, honey, hello. Hi, I heard you talking in there, and I didn't want to butt in. So
Oh, you're not.
Ethel, hi, how are you? I got your report. I read it last night.
Yeah? Well, I guess you noticed I was pretty mad when I wrote it.
Yeah.
You missed a very ugly meeting.
Well, thanks for covering it for me. Now, that is a side of educational bureaucracy I would never have heard about without you. Come on in.
Hey, Ethel.
Hi.
How's your landlord these days?
Oh, mine's all right, but my neighbors?
Have you met my sister?
Not formally, but I know that you are Ethel Green, Frank's #1 volunteer.
Ah, and I know you're Siobhan. Hi.
Ethel is my Riverside task force. Now, what is this about your neighbors?
Oh, yeah, I really would like to tell you about the mess they're in. I mean, if you have a few minutes.
Sure. Here, sit down, sit down.
Yeah.
Is it more landlord trouble?
Yeah. A lot like I had last winter. You know, 8 days now with no heat, no hot water, and hardly any coal except for what's leaking from the pipes. Now, I'm talking about 5 buildings, 12 families each. And you know, one company owns the whole bunch. Now, the tenants have gotten nowhere with their complaints. They've even called the city, and they've just got nothing.
Has somebody kept a record of who was contacted and what was
Oh,
said?
yes. Everything is in here. A couple of my friends have been trying to organize, you know, to try to convince the people just to hold back on their rent. You know, they saw what happened to my building, you know, when you put that pressure on Mr. Foote.
Not me, you.
Well, okay, well, all of us. Anyway, they're really inspired by it, and they're planning on having a tenants meeting, you know, for anyone that'll show up.
Well, they'll probably only get a handful this time, but the important thing is making that first step.
That's right. Well, that kind of brings me to the favor I need.
Just tell me when and where, and if I can't get there, Bob and Nancy will.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, it's tomorrow at my place. Oh, well, that's no good.
Ethel, I'm sorry. I have to be in Washington, and these two are coming with me.
Okay, well, I guess we can put it off for a couple of days.
No, look, you gotta work while these people are ready to act. I worked with the rent strike out in Seattle last year. What about sending me as your representative?
Siobhan, let me think about that.
Well, think when? You're flying out for Washington this afternoon. Listen, Frank, I really think it would be a sin to lose momentum on this thing. Would there be any problem if I came in not being a member of his staff?
Are you kidding? You're in his family, honey. These people will be knocked out.
What do you say to that?
You know, I don't want to be a wet blanket or anything, but if this meeting's tomorrow, what are you going to do about little John?
Get Mrs. Shaw, or I'll take him with me if I have to.
Sure. Well, he can play with Eric.
You know what might make more sense? Starting with some hard information upon how a rent strike works, step by step, and then discussing it with one of us. We have those fact sheets from the Metropolitan Housing Association. Do you think you can lay your hands on some of them?
I think so.
Well, listen, trouble makes trouble for sure, and that's the last thing I want to give you. That information that you mentioned, I think that's the place to start.
Well, what time? I'll need your phone number.
All right.
And, Ethel can take that file, right?
Yeah.
And why don't you look over this today?
Yeah, and I have some stuff in here for you to look at.
Right,
So
I'll
we'll
read this
talk
one
about it.
tomorrow. And I should get your,
Thank you.
address, phone number. Georgia has some paper out here. We'll get busy on that.
I think she'll do just fine.
We could call. No. No, Frank said that he would call, and I expect him to follow through with that, no matter what the situation is with Jill. After all, it's not as though she's... Besides, I don't even know where they are. Frank didn't leave the name of the hospital.
Well, it's out on Long Island. Little place on the South Shore serves all those little towns around there. You want me to call information?
No. No, I don't want to intrude. I'd just like to know that they landed safely and found my driver, managed to get out to the hospital in one piece. And God knows they were all exhausted, all three of them. They must be going on sheer nerves by now. Then Frank won't get any sleep tonight, so of course he'll be in terrible shape for tomorrow's meeting.
Ray, I have a hunch that meeting's going to have to wait.
Do you really?
You're right, of course. I mean, he'll be in shock. And if he doesn't get back, it's possible that he's not gonna
Frank
want...
promised that he would be in a Senate conference room at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, maybe he didn't tell you, but he did tell me. And I wish that you wouldn't use words like shock. Frank is going to grieve for Edmund, of course, but he is not going to go into shock or any other state of collapse. He'll have some coffee, a quick sauna. That'll get him through tomorrow. Then he'll sleep, and then time will take care of the rest of it. But throughout all of this, he is going to remain functional in terms of his work.
I hope that's true.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because when a parent loses a child,
Well,
it's
Frank
more
did
than
not
just...
have that kind of an attachment to Edmund. Seneca did.
Now, wait just a second, Ray. Frank did, too. I mean, he wasn't living with Edmund, but he cared, and he worried about him, and he wasn't cut off in the way you seem to think. He has a lot to think about.
Starting with that meeting tomorrow.
I think you better be prepared to have Frank miss that
And
meeting.
I think that the best thing in the world for him is to keep busy.
Fine. Have it your way.
Well, obviously there's no point in sitting around here waiting for the phone to ring. If anything had happened to my plane, I'd have heard about it. So I guess we should just all assume that they are at Jillian's bedside and call it a night. Bob, thank you for all the help you've given me. I'm off to bed, and Audrey can see the two of you out. Don't forget, you're briefing Frank tomorrow morning. 10:30, my office.
Man, I've met some tough people in my life, but boy, she takes the cake.
She is miserable.
Oh, yeah, I put a little bit stronger than that.
No, I mean, she feels miserable.
Oh, yeah, sure, because Senator Ryan is not in line. I mean, he has a personal tragedy. Too bad. I mean, take half the day off. I mean, how do you get through to her feelings? All I want to do is step on her.
She makes me feel sad. She loves powerful men, Frank in particular. And the way she does battle day in and day out, well, it's not pleasant. But it touches me.
Doing battle.
to win Frank and the Ryans and the White House to boot. That's her whole life.
Good Lord, Nancy. What else do you know?
I know Ray intends to marry Frank. Have you seen the way she is with Maeve?
Oh, regular sweetheart.
The daughter's more like it, a perfect one. She's really trying to please.
Yeah, well, I don't think Maeve's exactly sold on her.
Ooh, obviously not. And it gets to Ray.
I didn't see that.
Oh, she didn't intend for you to.
How'd you notice?
Well, I didn't have much to say, so I could watch her. She can't fool all of the people all of the time, especially from a side angle.
Look, tell me this. Does she really think Frank's going to come back for that meeting tomorrow?
Sorry, the Oracle cannot answer all questions. Ask me something easier.
Okay. She doesn't throw you? I mean, don't you ever get mad or anything like that?
If I answer, I get to ask you a question.
Okay, it's a deal.
Ray strikes me as vulnerable under all that arrogance. And she hasn't pushed me too far. Yet. Maybe she knows I wouldn't take it. Being the child of doting parents, I can tolerate so much and then I refuse to budge. Maybe she knows it. Do I get angry? Not often. Being the child of doting parents, I haven't needed to.
Come on, let's get out of here.
What?
Let's go someplace. I'm hungry.
Well, there's a kitchen full of food here.
Yeah, but they haven't got cheeseburgers.
Hey, wait a minute. Are you trying to distract me from asking my question?
I forgot all about that. Shoot.
Is there a woman somewhere in your life?
Well, not exactly at the moment, no.
Why on earth not?
Well, I have kind of a habit of picking the wrong girls. It's a talent I have. I perfected it to an art.
Funny. I'm not so bad at that myself.
You know, Nancy, I bet we could make some beautiful hamburgers together.
Do you really think we're going to find a place open at this point?
Yeah, sure. Some diner with fair coffee, pretty good pie. I'm not going to sleep anyway thinking about this Edmund Frank thing. How about it? You game?
I'm game.
Well, let's go.
Senator Ryan. Yeah, just a moment. It's for you.
Yes. No, Maureen. No matter what he says, it is not urgent. Look, I can't be interrupted when I'm with the senator. Yeah, well, maybe I'll call him later. And maybe I won't. I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem.
See what the girl has to put up with? Half of Washington beating a path to our door.
You want to look at this now?
All right, fine. Let me see. I'll tell you what, why don't you two go over these, all right? There's a phone call I have to make.
Yes, sir. Nancy, can you help me with these over here?
Later. I have to go to New York. Call and cancel everything until 4 o'clock this afternoon. We can work late tonight to make it up, can't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I plan to. Shall I call Ray's plane for you?
No. I could just make the next shuttle. I'd like to leave Ray out of this. In fact, if you can steer her clear of the subject of where I am, I'd appreciate it. It'll only make her uptight. All right. You may not even see her today, okay? Take care.
I'll see you later.
Don't worry, we'll take care of everything. Yes, this is Senator Ryan's office. He had a luncheon appointment with Undersecretary Wood today. Yeah, well...
Right? About 24 things here that I just...
Where is he?
Out of the office? Back at 4, he said.
That's strange. He didn't mention anything about that to me. And what are his appointments?
Nothing scheduled till then, I think. He'll probably call in.
Whew. Well, that's a pity.
Is there anything I can help with, Ray?
No, I'm afraid I promised them all Frank's personal attention. Well, I guess it'll just have to wait until he gets back, that's all. Look, will you have him... What is it?
Excuse me?
What's going on between the two of you? I don't like being the subject of knowing glances. You know where Frank is, don't you?
He didn't say precisely.
Well, did he say approximately? All right. Why is everything crossed out? Do you know where he is or don't you?
Yes, I do.
Where is he?
He's gone to New York.
To see Jill.
I suppose that's the case. Yes.
Now, would you like to tell me why you tried to keep that from me?
All right, you guys, come on.
Ray, I wasn't trying
You
to
were
anything.
trying to protect Frank from me. Well, I have a little bit of information for you, and I want you to absorb it right now. Nobody protects Frank Ryan from me. I am the reason he has this office and the reason that the two of you have your jobs. Now, if Frank needs protection, I will make that decision, and I will be the one that does the protecting. I don't know who you think you are, but you are very young and very inexperienced and, believe me, totally expendable.
Now, just a second, Ray. I think you've gone far enough.
Stop.
Now, you listen to me. We're both expendable. That's true. But not from you, from Frank. We're on his office, his payroll. He hired us. I mean, we appreciate everything you did to get him elected. But the voters put him in, not you. And I don't think Nancy or I have to be talked to that way.
Your loyalty is very touching, Bob, but it's totally misguided. Because if you really cared at all about Frank, you would not allow him to go flying to the bedside of another man's wife, making a complete fool of himself. The only thing he is going to accomplish is a great deal of pain and embarrassment for everyone, in addition to which it is unbelievably stupid.
Now, what Frank does is Frank's business. I've known him since he was 9 years old. I've never offered him an opinion he didn't ask for. Frank is his own man.
A United States Senator does not own his own life anymore.
Okay. Then it belongs to his constituents, not to one single person.
I know very well that I don't own Frank, but I also know how valuable I've been to him. Frank Ryan needs to be protected from himself a great deal more than he needs to be protected from me.
You wanted me? Hello, Ray.
Morning, Nancy.
Listen, Nancy, I've got a job for you. A couple of your father's cronies seem to be suffering from a sudden attack of excessive ambition, so I'm going to send them invitations to come down and see me. Now, what I want you to do is to go up and deliver those invitations in person.
Okay, sure.
You know them both. Mike McNally, Julio Ortiz.
Oh, of course. Well, when do you want me to go?
As soon as possible.
Okay, go up there, deliver the invitations, make sure they're accepted, and then catch the afternoon shuttle back?
No. I want you to stay for a couple of days and touch base with as many of the local state committeemen as you can possibly reach. Talk to your father about it. See if he can clear time to, well, to go along with you. He'll like it. Good old Dave. He has to show the flag for me, Nance. There has to be party discipline up there, or everything will fall apart.
A couple of days.
It'll be a real treat for Dave, having you home, showing you off. Believe me, I wouldn't ask you to do it if I didn't think it was worth doing.
Okay, I'll be on my way.
Great. I'll dictate the invitations and we can get you off.
Was this your idea, Mrs. Woodard?
Was what my idea, Nancy?
My going to New York for a couple of days?
Your father has a problem. He called this morning. I know you're glad to help. It's a change of scene for you. And certainly you'll be glad to spend a little time with your parents.
Or am I wrong?
I call my parents several times a week, and I see them whenever I can. As it happens, I'm not anxious to go back to New York, especially for a couple of days.
I'm sorry to hear that, because it seemed to me that you would be especially valuable where you grew up and know so many people and have your political roots.
Ray.
Yes.
I couldn't help wondering. Are you hoping that I become a New York political expert?
As far as I'm concerned, Nancy, you already are a New York political expert.
I settled here in Washington, and I want this to be my base from now on.
As I understand it, you were hired to be the liaison between Frank's home office and here. However, I have nothing to do with the way he runs his operation.
You have everything to do with it.
Unofficially, as an advisor.
You advise Frank about all of us.
Oh, no, not that much. However, if he were to ask for my advice in this particular instance, I would have to tell him that I thought you'd be far more valuable there than here.
You know I have personal reasons for not wanting to be in New York.
I don't feel that personal consideration should come before the senator. If you dislike liaison assignments between New York and Washington so much, perhaps you should consider taking a job here in Washington. Another job. Something that would not require so many trips north.
That's a very thoughtful suggestion. But I have no intention of leaving Senator Ryan's staff.
May I assume that your reason for not wanting to be in New York has to do in part, at least with Frank's brother Pat?
If you don't mind, I'd rather not discuss my reasons.
Just trying to understand.
My impression is that you understand everything that's going on here.
Because if you did want to distance yourself from Patrick, it would seem to me that the first step would be to remove yourself from Frank's staff, where, obviously, from time to time, you would have to run into his brother.
Mrs. Woodard, that is entirely my personal business.
And I am very concerned with the personal situations of everyone who works for Frank.
My situation with Pat does not affect the senator in any way.
On the contrary, at this very moment, you are very reluctant to take an assignment which is important to Frank and your father, because it'll put you in the same city as Pat.
I'm sorry I said anything. I won't mention it again.
But you did, and we have to deal with it. Please consider, Nancy, if this really is the job for you. Because there is one thing I am certain of. For the next few weeks, you will be spending more and more time in New York.
Mrs. Woodard, I'm devoted to Senator Ryan. I love my job. And I have no intention of looking for anything else.
We'll see about that.
Nancy Feldman, for heaven's sake, darling, how are you? Hey, what is the toast of Capitol Hill doing up north, huh?
Hi, Johnny. I'm on the mission for the boss.
Oh, come on.
Thanks, I think, to Ray Woodard.
Wow. She must be as happy with your work as Frank is.
Well, let's just say she likes it when I'm busy. Oh, no. Everything's fine, Johnny. Well, actually, I have one very pleasant task. To present you with this. I only wish Maeve were here, too. It's from Frank.
Now, look at that label. The Honorable Francis X. Ryan, U.S. Senate. When am I ever going to get used to that? Now, let's see what we...
It's a very special one. Look inside.
To Mother and Da, the Bible on which I took my oath of office,
January 15, 1979. In love and gratitude, Frank. His mother's gonna love this. So am I. I only wish that day could have turned out differently for all of us. How's Frank doing about Edmund? Is he letting some of it out?
Well, he's working very hard. I think it's going to be a long time before he can let any of it out.
Hello, Nancy. You're up from Washington?
Well, that's a pretty obvious question. Of course she's up from what? Hey, look what Frank sent up. The Bible. He took his oath of office on. Look at that.
Oh, Ma's gonna love this.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I'll surprise her with it when she comes back. Well, I mean, you didn't come all the way up here just to bring this, did you?
Oh, no. I have to handle a situation for the senator. Small rebellion in the ranks.
Oh. Now, why do I think you're not too thrilled about that?
Because I'm not, and I'm sure it shows.
Well...
I'm sorry. I'm in a terrible mood.
Oh. Join the club.
Oh?
You go first. Is the job a disappointment?
Oh, absolutely not. I love the job. I love your brother. Well, Washington's the perfect place for me. Unfortunately, I don't think Ray Woodard agrees.
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you're working for Frank, and the last time I heard, he said it was a terrific arrangement all the way around.
Well, yes, it does matter, and that it's just one more thing that has to be managed. And basically, I have a lot of sympathy for Ray. I don't want to go around being angry at her, and I don't want her going around thinking I'm a threat to her.
What? You're kidding me. I mean, Ray is jealous.
Oh, no, not that way. Well, she just hates anyone having close access to Frank. I mean, I'm sure she feels the same way about Bob, only
He's not as pretty.
Only they've been friends for so long, Frank and Bob, that I'm sure Ray knows she can't interfere there. And me, I'm another story. Or at least she thinks I am.
You know, for Frank's sake, just don't let Ray get to you. I mean, Bob's telling me you've been doing a fantastic job.
That's nice to hear. No, I will not let Ray Woodard get to me. I will not. I will not.
You will not.
So, what's your problem?
Well, it's not an interesting one, and it's not even a problem. It's just the way things are.
Which is how?
Well, it just hasn't worked out for Faith and myself.
Oh, Pat, I'm sorry. Last time I saw you, you were so full of hope.
No, it's just, you know, that part's over. She and Tom want to get back together again for official purposes, which tells me where her priorities are, so I'm just sitting back and getting used to the idea.
Oh, Pat, all your plans.
My plans, at the moment, are short range and simple. I mean, what I want, what I really want, I mean, have you got any time to yourself tonight?
I'll make some.
Make some, because all I want to do is take you out to dinner, a few drinks, just to dinner. I want to take you out, and I just want to listen.
Listen, to what?
I mean, well, anything, to more about the Ray situation.
Oh, I've said all I could about that.
Well, tell me in depth, in specific, unless you don't feel like it.
Actually, I do. Actually, I'd love to. I mean, I can't really talk to anybody about Ray. Bob's probably sick of it, and, well, Mother and Daddy are out of the questions.
Yeah, you see, I knew you needed somebody to kvetch to.
Kvetch?
Kvetch. That's the right word, right? Complain, run on about it all. I say it right?
Very good, Dr. Ryan.
I'll get it done. Excuse me, just a minute.
The hospital?
Yeah. Don, listen, I gotta go. Okay? Yeah, sure. Lems for dinner?
Great.
8 o'clock?
Fine.
Okay.
Anywhere but Greenberg's.
I am sorry that I took off so quickly. this morning.
Don't apologize. I knew the call was from the hospital.
Well, actually, it was from Jack at the hospital. Somebody locked him and Siobhan in a boiler room with a furnace that was about to explode.
What?
And Siobhan got herself a third-degree burn on her arm trying to release the pressure valve.
Was she all right?
Yeah, for the moment.
How about Jack?
Jack is as angry as I've ever seen him. I mean, it obviously was not an accident that that door was locked from the outside. The whole building could have gone sky high with everyone in it. The only reason that they weren't steamed to death is that Ethel Green came along and let them out.
Pat!
I know. I mean, Jack has been saying all along that Siobhan was into more trouble than she realized.
Has someone told Frank?
Yeah, Jack got onto him right away. And he asked Frank to lay into the district attorney's office, reinforce the situation with the precinct, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then he went off on his own to ask some questions.
What kind of questions?
Well, the kind of questions that a reporter asks when he really wants to know what's going on. You know, about who's behind the realty company. Why they think they can get away with the intimidation of a senator's family.
What does Johnny think?
As of 15 minutes ago, he didn't know anything about it. Siobhan wants to tell him herself. Tonight. Is something the matter?
You just seem much more like yourself than you did this morning.
Well, I'm less involved with myself than I was this morning. I've been looking forward all afternoon to seeing you.
Feelings mutual. Can you handle one more dish?
Yes.
Then we'll have one order of the bird's nest of General Kwai.
What? What is this?
I don't know, but how can you resist finding out?
All right. Oh, and another bottle, please.
Yes, Dr. Ryan. Thank you.
We didn't.
Yes, we did.
Well, that's all right. I've earned one evening of self-indulgence.
Tell me how it went with those committeemen.
So well that I'm going to be back in Washington by tomorrow. Much to Ray's dismay, I'm sure. You see, I did the first 2 invitations myself. But then Daddy and I talked about it, and we thought that instead of seeing everyone individually, it would be better to maybe get together an impromptu meeting. So we both got on the phone, and we got a hold of 5 committeemen at 5 o'clock, delivered the invitations, made sure they were accepted, and I go back to the office in triumph tomorrow.
Good. Good for you, Nance.
I love the job. Everything about it's so fascinating. And I will not let Ray Woodard run me out.
I will drink to that. Well, you know, as soon as he gets back with another bottle, I'll drink to that. Hey, what's with Ray, anyway?
Well, she loves Frank, who's everybody, including Frank, knows. But the problem is that Frank's used to people loving him. He doesn't really realize the degree to which some people get themselves involved, or how much reinforcement they need from him.
Yeah, that is a fair statement.
Which leaves Ray feeling a little insecure. I vacillate between feeling sorry for her and being furious at her.
Because when she's insecure, she's jealous of you?
I think she can't stand it that Frank likes me and depends upon me.
You know, if she's into that, and if she acts on it, I can tell you right now that's the most destructive thing she can do in terms of my brother. He was in love with Dee, wasn't he? Or he thought he was, anyway, until she turned possessive.
That must have really been interesting.
What?
Oh, sitting there watching all these people involved with Frank.
You put it pretty well, actually. People devoting themselves to him and him allowing it. It was in all good faith, with real innocence, because That is the way it's always happened for him. But I don't know what's going to happen with Ray. I mean, maybe he will marry her in the end.
With the Catholic annulment or without it?
With is better than without. But a decision hasn't been made on the application.
Tell me about Faith.
No. I said I would, but I don't want to. I would rather talk about you.
Morning.
Well, what are you doing here?
I work here, I think.
Yeah, well, I know that. I just didn't think you'd be back until tomorrow morning at the earliest.
Oh, well, I finished the assignment yesterday evening. Daddy and I put our heads together, and it only took a couple of hours. Jeannie's typing up the report now.
Terrific, terrific.
What are you working on?
Hayward report. I like the new image. The glasses.
Please. Spent the morning behind them on the plane. Oh. The glare of the sun on the snow. A little more than I could take.
Yeah, well, I thought you were trying to avoid all your latest admirers. You had 3 calls while you were gone. 2 representatives, 1 Secret Service guy.
That's all I need. Coffee.
Yeah, that just came in fresh. So you had some free time in New York?
Yeah.
Anything interesting?
I saw Pat.
Yeah?
Why isn't there ever any milk here?
Ta-da.
Thanks.
Nancy, why don't you go sit down? I'll bring it over to you.
Thank you.
All right. There you go.
Thanks.
And I thought you might like a couple of aspirins.
Oh, thank you. I guess my cheerful facade didn't fool you, huh?
Well, I didn't spend 10 years on the force for nothing. What do you got, a hangover?
The hangover. Pat and I had dinner at Lem's. What you see before you is a result of 2 bottles shared between us. Guess I can't take it. Who'd have thought those little plums would pack so much power?
Well, come on, Nancy. Vodka's made out of potatoes.
I'm sorry. Was that a joke?
No, I don't think so.
Good, because I didn't want to offend, but I think a laugh would finish me off right now.
So how was Pat doing?
Terrific, as usual.
Yeah. Was that okay? I mean, you're seeing him again and everything.
It's more than okay. Unfortunately, because I think I was just beginning to forget how okay he really is. I mean, he's so nice, so funny, and so attractive, and so Catholic.
Yeah.
Damn it, you're all Catholic. How did I fall into this nest of Irishmen anyway?
Well, luck of the Jewish. Hey, for me, that was pretty good. You survived that laugh.
Yeah, I did. Good old Nancy. She manages to get through anything.
Is that bad?
I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could just yell and scream and throw a tantrum and just get it all out at once. You know, just sort of wallow. Guess that's not my style.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I know you do. Well, did you ever try it?
What?
The hysterical approach to life?
No, can't say as I have, really.
I did. Once, when I was 16. My high school was putting on a production of Bells Are Ringing, and I was sure I was going to get the lead. I mean, the casting call even described her as perky, for God's sakes. Well, I landed in the chorus. Seems silly now, but it really seemed like the end of the world for me then. And I guess I just decided to act negatively, you know, to see what it was like. I dressed in black for 3 weeks. Spent hours alone in my room listening to the most depressing records. Read every morbid, terrible poem I could lay my hands on. Oh, fated bird of the night, pluck me from my mortal folly.
So what happened?
Well, I finally got bored.
That sounds awful.
Oh, it was.
You're not going to do that again, are you?
Oh, no. Once was enough. I think the best thing for me to do right now is to stay in Washington, get on with my job, slug it out with Ray, and stay as far away from New York as I can.
Well, to tell you the truth, Nancy, I think that's the best idea.
Well, it beats "Oh, fated bird of the night," anyway.